What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Alolan DataDex with me, TheOneIntegral. Now last episode we covered the lovely fluffy bear Snorlax from Generation 1, and I gave you a choice between two grass types for today. It was Lilligant from Gen 5 and Shiinotic from Gen 7, and you guys went for Shiinotic in the end, so of course that's what we're covering today. But for next episode's vote, of course, we have two fire types. So we have Magmortar or Turtonator, so Gen 4, Gen 7. Let me know down below in the comment section which you'd like to see by commenting either Magmortar or Turtonator, and the one with the most votes will be covered next episode. But for now, let's jump and have a look at Shiinotic. Shiinotic is number 756 in the National Pokédex, is a grass fairy type and the illuminating Pokemon. It's only 3 foot 3 inches or 1 meter tall, but it's still a pretty big mushroom, and weighs 25.4 pounds or 11.5 kilograms. It's in the grass egg group, and the male female split is a simple 50-50, evolving from, of course, Morlul, starting level 24. Looking at Shiinotic's base stats briefly, you can see Special Defense is its highest base stat at 100, then its Special Attack at 90, Defense at 80, Health Points at 60, Attack at 45, and finally Speed at 30. So of course, not a very fast Pokemon, not a very offensive Pokemon in terms of physical, but especially it's decent, and of course has a good bit of bulk in Special as well. Ability wise, there are actually 3 available for Shiinotic. First up is Illuminate, which raises the likelihood of meeting wild Pokemon, which is completely useless in battle, so we should ignore that ability. And then it's Effect Spore, which of course is much better, which means that if an opponent makes contact with you, it could poison or paralyze or sleep them, or put them to sleep. So it's pretty good there. Hidden ability is Rain Dish, so it's like another extra leftovers for you, which could come in handy, but I think generally Effect Spore is the best ability on offer. Looking at the grass fairy typing, it's nothing new but still pretty decent, with 6 resistances from thanks to grass, water, electric, fighting ground and dark, 5 weaknesses however with fire, flying, poison, ice and steel, 1 immunity to the dragon type, and taking neutral from the other 6. So it's a decent type. 6 resistances isn't anything to turn your nose up at, 5 weaknesses isn't the best, but I'd say it's pretty decent still. Looking at the moves you might want to use with Shiinotic. First, of course, we have level up moves, and most of them are level up moves in fact. First, at level 11, it actually learns Moonlight, which is a brilliant health and restoration move, restore half your health points, pretty good there, nothing really more to say about that, it's Moonlight. Another healing move next is actually Giga Drain, bit more offensive at level 31, only 75 base power, so not the most powerful move, but again will help you restore your health points, and being a especially bulky Pokemon, that's always pretty good. A few levels up, at level 35 we have Strength Sat. Now this is a very special move for Shiinotic to have. What this does is lowers the target's physical attack by 1 stage and restores your health points by sort of the same amount as their effective attack stat before the strength stat. So basically, if they have a really high attack stat, you're going to drop it down, and also you can get loads of health points in return, for at least the first time you use it. Of course, as you slowly whittle it down bit by bit, you're going to start reducing, regaining more and more, less and less rather, but still pretty good move, especially because physical defense is your lower defense, so if you can nullify any physical attackers, it all balances out there, and it's pretty good, and health and restoration is damn good as well. Then, first non-health and restoration move at level 40, we have Spore. Now of course Spore is very similar to Effect Spore, pretty much a similar effect, puts the opponent to sleep, and of course the accuracy is pretty damn good, so you can use this to put to sleep, and then you can Moonlight, Giga Drain and Strength Stat, either one of those, to restore loads of health points, so if you do that every few turns, they can't really do anything to you because they are asleep. And then the final level up move we have is Moonblast, a fairy type move, getting that other stamp up there, bit more powerful as well, with 95 base power, and generally is your go-to move for attacking rather than Giga Drain, but of course no help at restoration there, sad face, but still pretty damn good move. We have 1 TM, which is TM36 Sludge Bomb, for a bit of coverage there, so it covers grass and fairy types, so your own types there, and it's a pretty good move as well, 90 base power, it's damn good, gives you a bit more coverage as well, not a huge amount, but just a bit more. One final move though is Egg, and that is Leech Seed. Now, no help and restoration, only 90% accuracy, but of course it's pretty good. So you could set Leech Seed up, you can put them to sleep, you can Giga Drain, you can Moonlight, you can Strength Sap, all of that, and you'll get loads of health points, and they will be in the gutter basically. So those are the moves for Shiinotic. So how are we going to put these together and use them in a set? Well, we only have 1 set unfortunately, because Shiinotic is fairly standard. You use it in a defensive role with sleep and with health and restoration. It's fairly simple there. You could go all out attacking if you really wanted to. It's not going to be overly effective because your physical defense is going to be an easy weakness there, but you can still use it if you want, but we're not going to look at it in this video. So the moves for this set, we're going to have Spore in the first slot. The second slot is going to be Strength Sap or Moonlight. Leech Seed in the third, and then in the last slot we have one attacking move here, which is Moonblast, Giga Drain, and Sludge Bomb, of course the 3 attacking moves we looked at. Then ability wise we have Effect Spore or Rain Dish. If you're running a rain composition, why not get some Rain Dish in there, get that extra health point restoration, even more health points for you. So, you know, but generally Effect Spore if you're not running a rain composition. Rain Team, whichever one you might want to refer to that as. Nature is bold or calm, depending on the strength, sap, or moonlight. We'll look into this in a minute. Held items leftovers for even more health point restoration. Why would you not want more? And EV wise, we have maximum health points and maximum defense or special defense, again depending on your strength, sap, or moonlight choice, and the last few in speed. So, let's have a look here. So, Spore is putting people to sleep. Pretty decent there, pretty standard, you know, nothing too special there, put them to sleep. Strength Sap or Moonlight is the main choice here. Strength Sap will allow you to nullify physical attackers and get some health point restoration back at the same time, whereas Moonlight will allow you to get a big chunk of health points back. However, with that Moonlight choice, you have a fairly glaring weakness in your physical defense, which means someone can easily tackle it there and you've got no way to deal with it. Hence why we then look at the bold nature to increase our physical defense if we're running Moonlight, and maximum defense EVs if we're also running Moonlight, so not really investing much in special defense. If we're running Strength Sap, however, we can sort of forget about that. I don't want to say completely forget about it, because of course you do need to use Strength Sap, otherwise it's no good at all. Hence you can use Calm Nature, or you can use maximum special defense EVs, or you can go for a mixture, so Calm Nature and then half and half on defenses, so you still have some decent special bulk, while also being able to focus mostly on, you know, strength sapping up. Of course you can use this in different variations as well. You could go for strength sap and put loads into physical defense, just, you know, because you assume that's what you're going to focus on, you're going to catch people off guard. Or you can go for Moonlight and you can go full special defense, because why not, you know, invest really high in one defense and then leave the other sort of off the wayside and forget about it. Leech Seed is the third slot rather, and that's obviously because you want to set up as soon as possible to get some, you know, slow over time health point restoration. So Leech Seed and leftovers will both be working, even Rain Dish if you have Rain up as well. So you get double leftovers every turn basically, which is pretty damn good, nothing to, you know, be fussed about. And then the last slot is a move choice. So Moonblast is probably the best choice because it's the most damage, you get stab on it, etc. Whereas Giga Drain is if you need some more health point restoration as well. So if you are maybe running Strength Sap and you feel like after one or two uses that's not really going to be enough for you, you can use Giga Drain to, you know, get some health point restoration back at the same time as doing some damage. Or Sludge Bomb there is the last one, because of course if you run Moonblast you're not going to be able to hit certain types very easily, so poison types will completely wall you, they will also take you out really quickly, so same thing with Giga Drain really, whereas if, well, Sludge Bomb as well, but you know, Giga Drain can't affect grass types really, so Sludge Bomb might be a good counter there to balance it all out. But yeah, in terms of ability, Effect Spore is generally what you want to do unless you're running Rain Team, in which case you could think about running Rain Dish. Don't necessarily have to, you have a lot of health point restoration methods here, so you don't necessarily have to, but you could. As we've spoken about, Nature of Bold or Calm, links in with the EVs, and of course Strength Sap or Moonlight, and the leftovers is fairly standard. EV wise rather, maximum health points because that's what we need bulk, and the last few in speed to outspeed those really slow Pokemon. It's not going to be much at all, so you might even want to put their speed into the defense, special defense mix and spread it out a bit there. It's up to you though. In terms of how to use this set, well, generally if you come in you have got full health points, there's no point using Spore. You could, I suppose, but the idea in is first go in, you set up Leech Seed so it's there, you have it. Then say they do some damage to you, then maybe you can think about using Spore, or you can use Strength Sap if they're a physical attacker. That's almost your priority if they're a physical attacker. You can use Strength Sap, say they take your health points down a bit more, then you can use Spore. You can use, you know, you can use rather Moonblast or do some damage to them while they're asleep, and of course those 1 or 2 turns while they're asleep or switching out, you'll be getting health points back via leftovers, maybe via Leech Seed if they don't switch out, and of course whatever attack you use, whether it's Strength Sap, Moonlight or Giga Drain, and just generally get lots of health points back, and that's how Shiinotic works. It's basically a health points hog. There's not much more to it than that really, so yeah, I don't know really what to say, because you just go and you set your stuff up, and you know, assuming they don't stand in the poison type, you can stay there. If they stand in the poison type, you may well want to switch out, because otherwise you're going to have some tricky times, and you don't want to completely sack yourself off by getting hit by a Sludge Bomb and losing, you know, 90% of your health, because then unless you hit a Spore and you're faster, which is unlikely, you may want to be rethinking your strategy. But that is going to be it for Shiinotic today, guys. That's it for the DataDex. Do not forget to vote for next episodes, either Magmortar or Turtonator. Comment down below, guys. But for now, this is going to be it for today, so I shall see you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, my friends.